Hey everyone, welcome to a special bonus mini reaction episode of Locked on Lakers. Brian Kamenetsky here. Lakers take it on the chin in game one, 117-95. The final score. A lot of things went wrong for the Lakers and a lot that needs to be improved before game two on Tuesday. We'll talk about it next.
You are Locked on Lakers, your daily Los Angeles Lakers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks to everybody for making Locked on Lakers first listen of every day, Monday through Friday, no matter how, where you get your podcasts, always free, never behind a paywall. Locked on Lakers on YouTube is where you're hanging out right now. Many of you watching, and where you can catch this show every single day, over 34,000 strong. Andy's doing radio. We'll be back for a long, complete show in for probably next hour or so. But in the meantime, a little bit of instant reaction here. Basically, a lot of people here got mad at me for maybe being a little bit too deferential to the potential of the Wolves when this series was set last week. But most of the things that Lakers fans and analysts and people like myself were worried about really were on display in this game one. The Lakers lose 117-95. The offensive glass was a problem. Minnesota can't really go by the final numbers. Lakers had 5 offensive rebounds in the last 2 minutes of the game or whatever in garbage time. But Minnesota really took advantage of the Lakers, particularly after a strong first quarter for the Lakers. Minnesota took control, and a lot of that was based on second chance points. And obviously, anybody watching this game could tell you that the three-point shooting for Minnesota also hugely problematic. Minnesota takes 42 three-pointers. They make 21 of them. And for the non-math majors, that is 50% from three-point range. 21 three-pointers on a 50% clip. So that is obviously tremendous work for Minnesota. A lot of that work being done by Naz Reid. You saw Jaden McDaniels, who was insanely good for Minnesota on Saturday. He hits all 3 of his three-pointers. Anthony Edwards was 4 of 9. Naz Reid 6 of 9. Julius Randle was 4 of 6. And that 50% number that they finished as actually was higher at halftime. So again, the Lakers Minnesota slowed down a little bit. That 3-point onslaught was front-loaded to some degree for Minnesota. Lakers did get off to a good start in this game. They were up 28-21. Luka Doncic was excellent early. Looked like he had Minnesota in his back pocket, as it was in the series last year while Luka was playing with the Mavericks. 28-21 after one start of the second quarter, Luka goes to the bench, and the Lakers are just wildly out of sorts. LeBron and Austin Reeves still on the floor together, could not get anything going. The offense was incredibly stagnant. Some untimely turnovers, bad possessions allowed Minnesota to get out and start running. It particularly allowed them to break the Lakers down in the paint and find wide open three-point shooters on the perimeter. And as I mentioned, Minnesota basically didn't miss any of it. So any opportunities they got, particularly early, were taking advantage of the Lakers, as you say, as they start to fall farther behind in that second quarter. Everything seemed to go wrong. Dante DiVincenzo finished the half with a 45-footer to or so, 38-footer, something like that. Long three-pointer at the buzzer, fading away over Austin Reeves to send Minnesota into the break with an 11-point lead. And the Lakers just didn't recover very well from there. And so that third quarter, you needed the Lakers to come out and eat into Minnesota's lead. Instead, Minnesota gets out to a quick 11-0 run, and that is essentially your ball game. The Lakers did make a run out of it, but they got to within 12 with about 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter. The game wasn't over, but at that point, when you're playing a team like Minnesota that is good, you can't expect to come back from down 12, down 14, down 20, down 25, and expect to make a game of it. Again, up and down the box score, a lot of things to dislike from this game if you're a Lakers fan. The bench scoring was a major problem. Again, you can't go by the total final numbers. Dalton Connect added 5 points there at the end in garbage time, but Gabe Vincent had 3 points in 25 minutes. Jared Vanderbilt, 2 points in 14 minutes. Dorian Finney-Smith, 3 points in 33 minutes. JJ Redick essentially played about a 7.5 man rotation. Jackson Hayes played all of 11 minutes in this game, 8 minutes in this game, was a -11. Vanderbilt didn't play a ton either. He only played 14. So you're looking at Vincent and Finney-Smith off the bench with Rui, LeBron, Luka, and Reeves. So a very short rotation for Redick in this game. And the Lakers just did not get enough from their really from anybody who wasn't Luka. If you're going to play with a rotation that short, 35 points between LeBron James and Austin Reeves just isn't going to get it done. AR was particularly bad in the first half, and it took him, he had about a 3.5 minute stretch, it seemed like, in the third quarter where he started to get things going. But obviously the Lakers were significantly behind at that point, and it was not great. So, he didn't get going. LeBron didn't get going. The offense generally was very bad. I think people are going to look, at least many people are going to look at the defense. 117 points, 38 point second quarter for Minnesota, 35 point third quarter for Minnesota, and look at the defense. And obviously the defense can be improved. But really, I think so much of what Minnesota did was created by some stagnant, bad, disorganized, freelance Lakers offense. Even in the first quarter, when the Lakers were playing well and Luka was lighting up Minnesota pretty effectively, again, 28-21, the Lakers did finish this first quarter up by 7, which just makes this split over the rest of the game, that much more staggering. But you look at what they were doing, and it really was just primarily Luka on his own beating up the Wolves. And there was very little ball movement, and there was very little player movement. And got the Lakers into a place where, while they were winning, they weren't necessarily doing it with a lot of snap, with a lot of pop to their game, with a lot of anything. And when Luka went out of the game, that lack of dynamic flow in what the Lakers are trying to do offensively was right there, and there just wasn't anything the Lakers had going. Minnesota turned them over. They forced bad shots, and that was the end of it. I mean, the Wolves got out to a huge run to open the second quarter. The Lakers, even when they brought Luka back in, could not significantly eat into Minnesota's lead. And I feel like that offensive flow wasn't really much better in the third quarter. The Lakers raised their intensity level, which I think was significant. And that was something that Redick talked about even on the sideline interview with ESPN. But, one thing here to pay attention to, Minnesota played an 8-man rotation here with 8 guys playing 20 minutes or more. The Lakers only had 6 guys play more than 15 minutes in this game. So the depth of Minnesota is going to be potentially an issue. If Jackson Hayes is really going to be a small minute guy in this series, and I thought it might be possible. I actually thought it might be a good sign if Hayes isn't playing a ton, because it might mean that the Lakers, with this smaller lineup, are really exploiting some of the potential challenges there that they could give Minnesota, against a guy like Rudy Gobert or something like that. And Gobert only played 24 minutes in this game. So, 2 points, 6 rebounds, 1 block for Gobert. He was not necessarily hugely dominant, only had 1 offensive rebound. But that's not how it turned out. So over the course of the series, if the Lakers aren't going to get more from LeBron and Reeves, it's hard to expect necessarily that production is going to come from deeper down in the rotation. So, like I mentioned, plenty of stuff for the Lakers to review and to have to improve between now and Tuesday's game 2. It is good that they get the extra day. LeBron, I think, could certainly use it to continue allowing that groin to heal. I think everybody hopes that the Minnesota Timberwolves cool off a little bit between now and then. Some just incredibly good shooting from Minnesota, and sometimes there's not a lot you can do about that. Although a lot of these were uncontested, wide open 3-pointers. So the Lakers can certainly tighten that up a little bit there. Don't ever want to make sweeping declarations about a series after one game, but the Lakers got a lot of work to do, and they have things that they need to fix. And they're the things mostly that I think they thought were going to be potentially problematic coming into the series. So you certainly trust that the coaching staff is ready for this stuff, because again, all of it is the kind of thing the Lakers, I think, were anticipating when it comes to what this series might look like. So Andy's going to join me here in half hour, 45 minutes for a full length show. But before I go, I do want to let people know that today's episode, this little mini episode, brought to you by Upworks. There we go. Scaling your business requires the right expertise at the right time. With Upwork, you can find specialized freelancers in marketing, development, design, and more. Experts ready to help you take your business to the next level. Upwork gives businesses flexibility by connecting them with top freelance talent across multiple industries, including IT, AI, web development, marketing. Whether you need extra hands for a project or a long-term partner, Upwork makes hiring simple and affordable. So visit upwork.com right now. Post your job for free. That's upwork.com, 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 to connect with top talent and grow your business right away. Locked On Lakers also brought to you by Monarch Money. If you ever check your business, your bank account and wonder where'd all the money go, maybe it's dining out, it's too much shopping, a little too much entertainment, it's very easy to lose track. And that's where Monarch Money comes in. It's a personal CFO giving you full visibility and control over your finances. I have used the Monarch Money dashboard. It is really helpful. They call it a financial command center. It really operates that way. You can see all your accounts, all your investments, all your spending in one place. And that makes it a lot easier to figure out and follow your finances. And you can't fix what you can't see. Monarch Money makes it much easier to see what is happening with your money. Any extra accounts that you have, places that you just don't realize you're spending a lot more money than you think, a couple things that happen over the course of the week that add up over the course of the month. You really need to be able to see all this stuff. Monarch Money makes that happen. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. Again, that's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNBA for half off your first year. I will be back with Andy quickly. And for a full reaction to game one. So see everyone in a bit.